Okay, then I grab the other side and do the same thing. I'm going to pull that cord until the bungee is exposed. Put the nylon rod and the paddle in at the same time. And I really want to make sure that that nylon rod goes through the bungee as I expose it and doesn't disappear into the grommet. You don't want the nylon rod to go inside the grommet. You want it to pass through the bungee and into the same spot, the same slot basically, that the handle paddle is captured within. You want that thing to lay nice and flat under the paddle capture, and it takes a little bit of time. This bungee is skewed a little bit sideways, so having a little bit of trouble, but there we go. Once you get it through there and you know that it's headed the right direction, see, that's a perfect example. As I pull it back out to get the paddle in, the nylon rod comes out. So it's really important to try, if you can, to get both in at the same time so that you don't lose that nylon rod through the bungee as it's inserted. And it's also the reason why I keep the strings attached, just so in the end, when the process is done, if you haven't done it right, you don't have to rethread the entire parachute. Okay, so make sure that webbing is laying nice and flat and that the Velcro is secured to the handle itself and nice and straight. Okay, and I just look all around, make sure that the Velcro is nice and flat, that there isn't anything tucked underneath there, that your handle is, if it's lined up with the Velcro on both the top and the bottom, it should be in there fairly straight. And then I can go ahead and pull these strings and know that my parachute is in the deployment bag and secure within the harness. Now, once I get to this point, my parachute's installed and it's ready to be pulled and everything is safe, but I want to make sure that it's also going to fit correctly. So I go ahead and flip the harness over, and you should have that bridle within the cutout area so that it can wrap around the back plate, like so. I take the bridle and I make sure that the screamer and everything in it, as it wraps around, what I do, I wrap the harness and just kind of fold the parachute like this. See how I'm just kind of working it? And what that is you have this lofty brand new parachute that is kind of packed like a brick in a bag, and you want it to lay nice and flat and contour around your body when you put the harness on, and to push out in all the right places so that the skin tension is good. And so what I do is I push on the bridle and just above the bridle with my hand, and I kind of work the parachute into a little bit of a curve. Okay, now I know it's installed correctly, and just for good measure, I end up putting the harness on and making sure that it feels as it should. And sometimes it takes actually hanging in the harness to make sure that the bridle is attached correctly in a way that doesn't involve safety per se, but so that the quick link doesn't press into your hip or cause any comfort issues. But you can see the parachute is installed correctly and is in the right place for me to access the handle easily and deploy the parachute if it's ever needed. So that's the way to install a parachute in a covert.